Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Here we go. Trading up.
100.
Yes!
What?
Oh my God. Just recorded.
The tape never lies.
Other people drop off, but we still keep rocking.
You'll never know how good your football team's going to be until you play with maximum effort.
Keeping it 100.
Open competition over the North and never give it back.
Smartest man.
My Chicago Bears select Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio State.
Guess who's back? The two dudes that kept it real. Dynamic duo that you love, the smartest man and Dr. Phil. Breaking down the film, never a problem, kick it straight. Most shows focus on stats, we focus on the tape. We keeping it 100, never running east to west. We coming with that truth, cause that's what our fans expect. Cut off the freaking anchor, forward to be free. But don't you worry, Shane's got the dumbest tweets. It ain't no secret, Phil and Shane got some haters. But now they're all stuck like the Jew and now and laters. Debaters, frauds get kicked like Coach Taver. Cuts had to be made, we added a barber moderator. Up and down, boys got you double checking. Sad sacks trolling like a fool drunk texting. Flexing on the truth cause you know they never change. Real, recognize real, that's what you get with Phil and Shane. Give me some fucking names. We do when we're breaking down the Bears. Fuck a play or a captain, all of the unchairs. The tape never lies. The truth, you see, we laugh, we analyze, so there's no babies like Maybelline. Straight to the truth with acumen and facts. We got a sad nerd, but he's not just giving nerd stats. Car crash, big impact like Trip Sat. Every Wednesday night you got the smartest man and Phil back. Now we know you're smiling like a fat kid with fun dip. We're back better than ever and we keeping it 100.
Keep it 100. Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Justin Fields gets outside the pocket, puts that ball perfectly where only Mooney can get it.
Keeping it 100.
2 feet.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Keep it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Tape never lies.
Yeah, exactly.
You're on the air, baby. You're on. You did it. You made it.
Oh, we did it. We made it on a Tuesday.
Yeah. Keeping it 100, but not keeping it 100.
Oh, let's be nice, Shane. Breaking news. The tape never lies. Network breaking news.
Into the TTNL news desk. Barlissimo is not a part of TTNL Network. Want to get it out of the way before he showed up in the chat and told everybody. So, hello, Phil.
This is why I love you. I wasn't even expecting.
I wasn't expecting it. Yeah. It's all good. Hey,
Thank you.
Football is back.
Getting off of COVID.
Bears. Yeah.
Everyone be nice. Everyone be nice. Hey, take that ball away. Listen,
Actually,
why
Claudio,
are we going
Claudio
on?
wrote that script. He texted it to me.
Yo! Yes. If you get that out of the way, if you're wondering about Barlissimo's exit, that we addressed this on our Patron channel, that we opened up a town hall and we addressed just that. So become a patron and you'll hear exactly why. And true, no lies, no manipulation. Just straight facts, homie. Straight cash, homie. That kind of stuff. So if you miss that, there you go. That's what we continue to do. Shane's being joking because of what everyone keeps screenshotting and sending to us. It's kind of ridiculous at this point. But on a show that keeps it 100, we kept it 100. And that's that. And we move on. Become a patron. TheTapeNeverLies.com. It's right there. And you'll hear the classy way with which we don't lie and make untruths, however we're going to put it. But
Well, let's get to football. That's why we're
yes, we did come tonight to try to say the truth about what's going on with the Chicago Bears. And there's a lot of stuff to dive in. We got our producers in the background tonight. This is a pop-up show where the Chicago Bears kind of popped up and signed a left tackle, Shane, Riley Reiff.
hopefully he's not a left tackle.
Maybe not.
He has struggled mightily there in his history, but
Shane,
we'll see.
Didn't allow a sack last year.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, you know how it is, man. I have no problem. I was a little bit surprised they went there, and the money, I think everybody sees the money and they're like, oh, holy shit. And then you really break it down and it's all going to be in the structure. Don't focus on the 12.5 or the likely to be earned incentives and stuff like that. See what his base is going to be and then what the guarantees are. And there's going to be a lot of questions answered tomorrow, according to Eberflus. We'll see how they come out.
You'll see how we line up tomorrow. We're gonna play you a lot of clips.
Before we do that, let's put our nuts on the firing line.
Hold on. We didn't go through the gambit. There's a lot of news today.
Yeah.
You got Roquan Brisker. How many times it was Brisker and Barlissimo questions? That's it. That's all we were dealing with.
There's a lot of them.
Weren't you 100% and I 100% right that we were not concerned about Brisker?
Yeah,
Brisker is done.
I wasn't. Even if he missed a practice or two, he's just the type of guy. He's playing safety.
He is.
He's going to be out there week one, no matter what. If he missed the first couple of practices, he didn't miss any practices, so he's there. It was about some guaranteed cash later in the contract. They got it wrapped up. I think his guarantees in year 3 or year 4 are equal to Kyler Gordon. So now it's a couple more weeks. Nobody's gonna give a shit about his guaranteed money. It's gonna be go time. And like I said, you guys have heard me talking about it on here. I think the number 9 jerseys are gonna be plentiful at Soldier Field, and they're not Robbie Gould or Jim McMahon jerseys this year. I think Roquan Brisker is going to be a kid that makes some noise, and I think he's going to be an extremely popular player, and I think that's going to show out in the jersey sales.
I'm with you 100%. You know how I felt, and I'll say it again. Brisker is like a Mike Brown, Urlacher combination, and that kind of football player that's extremely highly intellectually football savvy on top of highly athletic and freakish.
Yeah.
Because when you watch Brisker and you watch his tape, he's covering a lot of ground and he's so rangy but fluid.
Yeah.
So if you can get to a level where you're rangy, fluid, and physical, now all of a sudden you're cooking with gas. And it's football's back, baby. We've had to deal with a lot of shit. Of shit.
Been a crazy year for everybody. Everybody in the TTNL family.
Jackal, Claudio, Cherie, Bratcher. He had to remove something. I don't know. I'm kidding.
He got rid of that boil?
All of that. Football, though, is back, and we've addressed the bullshit situation with England. We've addressed it. You can go hear that. I don't want that to continue. We're trying to turn the page with football being back. So let's go there. And today you're looking at announcements. Riley Reiff, Roquan Brisker, Michael Schofield didn't break out of prison. He broke into the Chicago Bears. How he's going to be. It's going to be interesting. We're going to break all of this stuff down as well as be live tomorrow on Keeping It 100 with our guy.
The real Keeping It 100, right?
Yeah. Herb Howard will join us, and he'll have day one under his eyes, and he'll share with what he saw out there. Who was the starters lined up? But I think the pads and everything. And then we got to talk about 1920 Hallis Hall Drive, or whatever that is. That's another thing that I feel like you're getting a glimpse of what the Etoshan mantra has been. So it's not just being put into words on a presser. Now we saw the curtain, and you're seeing Coach Eberflus, Coach Marinelli especially.
Can we get a 1920 football drive every week during the season? Can you imagine what the numbers would be?
Oh my God.
On that? But that's, instead they're doing corny tweets with 1985 cartoons and
I know.
stuff like that.
It's so funny because as Otis, patron number one right there. Anybody could speak on patronage, and the Town Hall Truth Show, where we answered all your questions truthfully and honestly. How many times did I talk about, as a coach, I always brought our hands in football and we broke down the team together. To get a professional team to buy into being together, you could fuck all the tape and all that shit, all the stat, all the fantasy shit. But at the end of the day, football is an ultimate team sport. As great as Walter was, Emery Moorhead, Tom Thayer, and everybody else that you could think of, Jerry Fano, Mark Bortz, you're going to throw all these names, right? All of them are also a part of it because that's the game.
Yeah.
Now, when you see somebody overcome the lack of talent in front of them, that's when you applaud them and break that stuff down. But the reality is, at the end of the day, it's the coach's job to get everybody to buy in. And today, you saw a couple things that I really like, Shane. I saw Ryan Poles standing up there, sitting up there with him, showing real emotion.
Yeah.
Real passion.
He got a little nervous a couple of times when they were bombarding him with the Roquan Smith talk that he didn't want to talk about. And
yeah.
Biggs took it to a lower level and just, kept on kind of repeating the same question. I mean, if I'm Ryan Poles, you just got to come out and own it. Say, hey, anything that pertains to Roquan Smith, or just put it this way. I think Roquan's a fantastic player. I am not going to talk about people that aren't on the field practicing.
They did say, yes, I've heard they both are here in reference to Robert Quinn and Roquan.
Yeah, that's the workaround for the CBA for not reporting to camp. So they're reporting to camp, they're just not on the field, so then they can't be fined. And because training camp fines cannot be rescinded with the new deal. So if he gets fined, whatever it is, $400,000, they can't pull that. That's coming out of his pocket. No questions asked. This is the workaround for that. It's called a hold in. He's in the facility. He's just not on the field. He has reported to camp. But at the same time, Roquan put out on Instagram, end of the day, 58's going to be there. So it's, this is a deal. I think Roquan is an excellent linebacker. I don't like the money where it's going to be going for an off-the-ball linebacker. And I know that fires up the masses, but I expect a deal to get done. I think it'll end up being a 5-year.
Do you worry about him representing himself?
Yeah, I think that's the reason why we are where we are right now. I think that's the reason it's taken so long, because you can't all the minutia that comes with an NFL contract, they're not 3 or 4 pages. It's a friggin' volume of stuff. And when you're the ultimate competitor like that, trying to get ready for camp. I don't know. Pay the 4% and let your agent handle it, and it would likely be done. But I don't know. That's Roquan. I mean, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here. He's always been a little bit, I don't want to say aloof, but he's been a little bit different of a guy.
I would think aloof he's kind of quirky. How about that?
Yeah, and this is me getting way ahead of myself. I've always had the feeling with Roquan that he's going to be one of those guys that, if he signs a 5-year deal and he gets a bunch of guaranteed money in the first couple of years, the night before camp in year 3, there's going to be breaking news everywhere. Roquan Smith has hung it up at 27, 28 years old. I've always that's just a gut feeling.
You were right about Eddie Goldman.
Yeah.
You were saying this for years. You love the player, got to question his love for the game. You listen. We are a network that has a bullseye on us, right? Because we don't cut any fucking corners. We don't lie, and we don't play any bullshit games. And so people are ready to pounce when we, go out there. And I mean, we hold our own people accountable, like Bratcher's take on Khalil Herbert. He'll get shit from me all year. And that's fine, because that's what we do.
That's right.
Because it's the truth. I don't agree at all. So with stuff like this, you have to wonder, to your point, do you pay a linebacker that, or you're under contract, number one, Roquan.
Yeah,
we have the option over you.
Yeah, it's the 5th-year option. Well, I mean, I don't think he's going to miss games. It's just he's
Claudio,
playing
make sure you star good football questions. Because I don't want to miss them.
He's playing his trump card right now. That's all he can do. So, and like I said, is he
huge? I want a huge deal.
Is he up huddled up with Ryan Poles and Cliff Stein right now? The night before practice, working on a 5-year record-setting contract for an inside linebacker. Like I said, the Chicago Bears fan base overall, this isn't me blasting Roquan Smith. He's an excellent linebacker. Yes. But is it like Hub put out a crazy tweet yesterday saying, what if somebody offered you the Khalil Mack deal for Roquan? Well, I would fucking trade Roquan Smith for the Khalil Mack deal. All fucking day. You're never going to get that deal. Roquan doesn't have the accolades that came along with Khalil Mack. That's the thing. There's a lot of good off-the-ball backers in the NFL.
Did you see the Jim Larison? Yoko sent me this tweet of, I think it was Urlacher and Roquan. Their numbers. Did you see that tweet?
No.
So looking at the two, Roquan had more tab, more sack, and whatever. He's never made the Pro Bowl. He's never been voted, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I ask you guys, you look at the reality of this football player, and do you say, like, fuck the stats and the stat boys? Do you say, oh my God, this guy's an all-pro? He's made those plays.
I need more impact. I need more impact plays from Roquan Smith.
That's what I'm saying.
He's a good tackler. That's a huge part of football. The Bears have had a deficiency in that department. I understand it. I want more impact plays from Roquan Smith. And to this point, I haven't seen enough.
I've seen more impact from
plays.
David Montgomery than I have of Roquan. And I saw Jazz, and that's a great point, Jazz. I'm with you. You can't pay the man for every player. You can't. And it's not the popular opinion, but it's the reality. Urlacher was a first ballot Hall of Famer for me. Let me clear that shit up because we had some.
Yeah, somebody there put
fucking
Urlacher had.
comment. When did
Urlacher
we ever comment? Even Bratcher, I don't know what the fuck he's thinking. If you can get Urlacher on our show, you get him on the show. I love Brian Urlacher. I might not agree with any of his politics or any of that kind of shit, but that's not what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about his amazing career, and that, to me, Brian Urlacher was a game wrecker. As what he did on the football field on tape was tremendous, and that was before I was able to break down with the all 22s. I was just doing it with the olden days, shooting at the screen, Shane. So that kind of stuff is very important when we look at money, off the ball linebacker, and there's a hidden gem and a guy that is sitting on this roster named Nick Morrow that is about to make a name for himself here that are going to make a lot of people say, wait, why did we pay Roquan?
Yeah, but before you move to him, I think you should bring in the guy that's in the green room because I know his feelings on it, and I think he can lay some lumber here on what we're talking about. You want to pop him in?
Well, we have like 6 producers, and none of them did this.
Nerd alert!
There he is. Oh, freaking Stephanie Jane is messing with your internet again. I feel like it.
Always.
You were a little blurry. You're our highest tech support guy.
I'm the level 3. I'm the level 3 guy. Absolutely.
What?
You're the guy we all call when we need advice, and then your signal is worse than my old Cox.
Yes. Because we were talking about, you and I had a little bit of a discussion with Ryan Cox earlier. I think it was today or yesterday, but on Roquan and an extension. Just kind of let the masses know your thoughts on the situation. Phil and I just spoke on it. We'll see if they match up.
You can't pay him $20 million plus. It just, at least not with what he's shown. If you pay him $20 million, you're betting on an explosive year that he hasn't had yet. I think the thing we all agree on is I miss the splash plays. Like I miss the turnovers. If you look at Darius and Warner, right? Like
Shaquille now, by the way. Shaquille Leonard. That's what he wants to go by now.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there's that. But if you look at that, like he's third and fourth turnovers between those guys, and passes defended, which is supposed to be his, one of his big things. He's third. Like we miss those big plays. I always look back at that Arizona Cardinals game back when we made the Super Bowl run, and Brian Urlacher and that defense took over a game when the offense wasn't done it. We're waiting for that moment from Roquan still. It doesn't take away that he's very good, but
we basically said this all. Yeah, we're all in agreement here. All 3 of us. I am not in the Ryan Cox and you guys thread, so I feel a little left out of that. But the reality is,
we need our Phil break.
I'm in the same boat as you guys with this.
But like right here, Phil, this is the point. He's put this in here saying that we're whining about it, but this is where you have to learn your history. Speak or whatever your screen name is. Brian Urlacher came into the league in 2000. Lance Briggs was a 2003 draft pick. Brian Urlacher made plenty of fucking plays, impact plays. I think he had 8.5 sacks
they moved him to fucking
as a
middle
rookie
linebacker.
Yeah, so he made plenty of impact plays pre-Briggs.
Yeah,
and
Lance Briggs to me is a more. That's a whole nother show. Let's do a Lance Briggs show sometime. I will bring him on. And I thought he was a good player. He is not a Hall of Fame linebacker in my book, but that'll be for another day in regards to Lance Briggs.
And I don't get listen, there's a lot to hate about Nagy, but from everything we've heard, he was pretty much hands off that defense. You can't blame Nagy for the defense. You can blame his coordinators, absolutely. But, Kyle Fuller made plays
let me ask you,
on that defense.
That's what I was going to push back on. Like, right now, based on philosophy, all of us believe that you put Roquan Smith in a position to be a run and chase, kind of hidden in a 4-3 scheme, will linebacker, those impact plays are going to go. So scheme-wise, this guy's playing Mike inside linebacker in a 3-4 is a 50 front most of the time. The Chicago Bears were nickel, to Carr's point, almost 80% of the time. So now you're getting him in nickel where he could be the coverage guy. He did not make impact plays. Now, is it all his fault? No, because when we saw him allowed Pagano to run at the quarterback, this guy's burst and closing speed and all of the things you would expect an inside game-breaking football player to have were there. So there is a combination of both. However, now with Eberflus, we'll find out. And I think Nick Morrow and him both say it's interchangeable. That's going to make your defense even better. Because if you don't know where the mic is, think about your blocking scheme.
Morrow's the one calling the defense. He has been he's been the one with the green dot.
So there you go.
And he's the one, and you were right, Phil. I came on as you're saying. Morrow, I'm really excited for.
Me too. It's all health with him. All health.
Yeah. Bro, and I mean, like you always hear about the guys that lay the lumber, right? And he's the one that has that explosive last step into a guy.
I played with one football player that was able to do, I was telling my wife, I got 2 concussions from this fucking guy. If he was 6 foot, he would be in the NFL. His name was Dante Gilliam. And there's something about somebody who's able to be inches away, that Bruce Lee form of punch, explode through somebody. Nick Morrow has, as Joseph Matuzak is saying, the explosive short area contact burst that is uncoachable, and it's just based on somebody's mental fortitude to want to actually destroy people. And when that happens, and we know the city of Chicago, you hear those pads flurry. I was watching the NFL Network, and it was Kevin Green, and he was playing with the Carolina Panthers. He's talking about Sam Mills. May he rest in peace. Mills. And Sam Mills has what you're talking about here, short area contact burst. He said it was the loudest explosive hit that he put on Craig Ironhead Hayward when he was with the Falcons on 3rd and 2. Sam Mills comes and blasts him, explodes into him. Those are impact plays. How is Roquan done? I'm with Shane. I'm with Cars, and apparently Ryan Cox. That we got to see more. So I'm with you. He's a 5th-year option. Get your ass in camp. Prove to everybody what you are and your value.
Did you guys notice on the 1920 football drive, and this stuck out to me because we've talked about Tevin Jenkins. We talked about, get your track shoes ready. You better be lean, mean, ready to go. Did you notice what Eberflus said to Roquan in the little huddle when they were talking?
He came out. Look who's in shape.
Look at this guy looking lean.
Yeah, exactly.
To me, that means they had a fucking talk with Roquan. Roquan's never been a body beautiful guy for an NFL linebacker. I mean, he's got little titties and everything at some point in some of his pictures
Model
showed. But this is what.
You're right. This is the season for him to do it. You can't tell me right now that he has done anything worth $20 million a year.
That's the point. Somebody
was in there. He won't.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody was in there saying,
Kevin, that's a great point.
How are you getting excited about Nick Morrow and not Roquan? Because the point, you're paying Nick Morrow $5 million. You may have to be paying Roquan $22, and with the guarantees, that number could be what, Cars, in year 1?
It'd be like $35-40 million year 1.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I have not seen a $34 million sleeper, and I agree with Chuck the middleman. I'm excited about Caleb Johnson too. I mean, we're on the cusp. It's Christmas Eve for camp. So a lot of this shit that these blog boys are talking, offensive line, linebacker, safety, corner, receiver, running back, all of them, they answer shit with pads. That's when we had a pussy coach. We had an unorganized shoe salesman who talked about being calloused up. That's like Claudio talking about cutting hair and never showing up. That's not how it works as a barber. You better show up and cut fucking hair and do a good job, and no one's coming back. Our coach didn't do shit. Everything I want to hear. I saw what I want. Rod Marinelli expressing to the coaching staff.
Oh, loved that part.
Right?
Loved that part.
Yeah. I can't wait. We're going to show some clips of that tomorrow. Tonight, we go live, a pop-up show to give you a taste of what Patron is tonight. Obviously, we talked about going over. Check out our town hall show. I really have, no joke, at least 45 DMs, emails, almost showcasing such gratitude from patrons for the honesty and the transparency and the articulation of truth in that format. You have questions about anything of how we've built TTNL, where we came from, the old network, Shane's past, my past, as well as relieving Barlissimo of his duties here. All of that answered on that show. So if you are going to go in the chat, that's the best way to do it, is hear the truth. That being, and I also want to announce to Cars Keys, we got a little taste of Cool Kennedy. Should I play a little piece of it or no?
Give him a little 5-second.
5 second. So me and Cool Kennedy are going in the studio for our patron show to be where these two guys. There's not going to you hate hearing me talk like Cars does. It's going to be Shane. It's going to be Shane and Cars breaking down the upcoming opponent like nobody else does. You like to bet on the game, Bratcher? Don't listen to Fat Mike's takes. I'll tell you that. Or North's.
And it's got the pan flute to start. I'm in.
We got a little anthem brewing. So yes, that's gonna be a page. You hear the flutes in there. You hear the flute. So that's gonna be great stuff. I'm excited about it. Cars Keys coming in the future. We got rid of all the dead weight as we move forward and the manipulations and all that. And we're going to be breaking down the Chicago Bears and a new season. I don't know what we're going to title this. A season of tranquility. A season.
I think it's the season of performance over politics is really.
There you go. POP.
Should make a song about that.
We should make a song about that, Claudio.
Nobody has ever talked about performance over politics when it comes to the Bears. Nobody. So I'm glad that we can finally.
POP, hold it down. It's performance over politics. Performance over politics. Performance over politics. POP. Performance over politics. DDP said fuck a cap and arena trick.
Oh. Yes, performance over politics. I mean, you're hearing all the things. I'm listening to Marinelli. I'm listening to Eberflus, and all I'm hearing is my dad as a young kid and learning the coaching. Now, the Chicago Bears, if you do a drill wrong, you fucking do it again. And every coach holds that. I'm like, is this really happening? Oh God, are we really
Jalen?
Yes.
Jalen Johnson has my favorite quote from this because he was basically like, holy shit, everyone is accountable. It's amazing.
He's looking around. If that's not an indictment on the British and the shoe salesmen, I don't know what is. Everybody's being held accountable. Everybody. That's what I like. But do we want to play a little of this presser? Yes.
Absolutely.
So here it is. Our producers did a
I want to
great
start
job
off by just
cutting
really
it off.
thanking our
And we're gonna
players,
comment
coaches,
a
front
little
office,
bit,
support
BHL
staff for the hard work and energy that they've put into this. As you know,
So if you want to hear this in its entirety, you don't want to hear Cars or Phil, or especially me, comment, yell over this or get excited, then take your ass to the fucking ChicagoBears.com and watch it there. Okay? There you go.
True.
That's all I had to say about that. For sure. I like is he saying for sure and I'm getting nervous?
when you have change and you're not in your normal routine, and being on the same team and you're collecting new people, new schemes, there's a lot of
very
strains
nervous
and stresses to get up and running, and everyone's answered that call and put the time in and done a really good job with that. I also want to thank our business staff and operations crew. You know, over the weeks, just looking out the window and seeing what it takes to get camp up and running, the bleachers, the fan experience, everything like that. It's a lot of work, and I really appreciate what they put into it. You know, I'm excited also for this is the first time we get to interact with our fan base.
Better
just
let them
thinking
film,
about
for
camp in
God's
general.
sake. For God's sake.
You know, I think for a while we probably took it
should
for
have been
granted
one of the questions.
that our
he
fans
is,
would be
though.
there,
Like,
we'd be able to
he
interact
is-
with them, our
look at
players
his
would
first
sign
presser to
autographs,
now.
all of those
He's in the
things
role.
until it was
He's
taken
good.
away from us. And for this to finally be back and we can interact with our fan base, I think is important, and I'm looking forward to it. In terms of the team, I'm really pleased in the direction that we're headed. I thought this offseason we made a lot of strides forward. I thought the standards were lifted from day one until we broke, and I'm excited to see us build off of that and continue to get better. As we go through camp, I'm looking for, you know, a couple things. One is for our guys to compete and bring the absolute best out of each other. I think that's when you become a really good team, as guys are pressing to be the absolute version of themselves possible.
Performance.
The other thing is resilience. You know, in camp, every off season, and that goes into the season, there's ups and downs. A resilient team, I think, is absolutely important to be successful. And to see that stability, see guys go through those up and down, have short memories on bad days and come back and have good days, I think is really a very important characteristic of any team. So I'm looking forward to that. The other thing is, when you have so many new faces, it's units starting to gel together and play together, communicate together, and be as one. And I think, again, if we can do that, we can be successful. In terms of gelling, part of the challenges there are all the new additions that we've had. And a couple of them I haven't addressed yet, and I'll go through a few of them. N'Keal Harry is one of them that we trade for. I'm excited about him. I think he has a really good skill set. He has great physical traits, and I think he has something to prove for sure. And I think he has the chance to improve this football team. Michael Schofield has opportunity to come in, compete, make the offensive line competitive. And again, if everyone's competing, we're going to get the best out of that unit. I'm excited to get Roquan Brisker signed up and here. I gave him a big hug when I saw him.
Yeah,
I'm excited for him and
Jaquan
the
in
direction
there.
he's going, just like all the other rookies that came in the offseason. He's headed in the right direction, and I'm excited to see what he does this training camp and during the season. And then the newest addition, just a couple minutes ago, we got Reiff signed up. That's another opportunity. I said it from the beginning. Our front office is not going to stop just chipping away and bringing good football players on this team to compete and make the whole team better. And then I want to address just the Roquan Smith situation. So my feelings for Roquan don't change at all. I love the player and the person, and that won't change. The one thing I'll ask everyone here, I know I'm going to get a lot of questions, and I get it. I'm just not going to talk about contracts and all that. So I wanted to just make sure we addressed it, though, that in terms of my feelings for him, nothing changes.
Yeah, so we're excited about starting a training camp, so,
all the
first year
business now.
and really every year, you're laying the foundation
Now
for
we
your
can talk
football team.
football.
So we're going to be sitting here next year, it's going to be the same thing because I believe in,
lacing up your shoes, start from square one every single year. So it's important that we laid a good foundation in the spring. And this will be the third time or fourth time they're going through the installs, which is great so they can learn. But really, it's really how we operate. How do you operate as the Chicago Bears? And some of those things are really basic, but it's something that we have to make sure we operate that way. One of them is being on time. So that's the important part for us. Another thing is being respectful. So we're building these relationships in the building. Coach, player, coach, staff members, anybody that works for the Bears, that's building those relationships, and being respectful is really big, and that's something that we'll cover with the players, and then working hard. That's the thing, and we say that all the time, and that's a basic thing to say, but we know that our foundation that we build upon is going to be built upon the principles that we believe in, and one of those things is hard work. And the intensity piece that I talked about in the spring, that's going to be on display during training camp once we get the pads on. And then taking care of the ball offensively, and when we're carrying it in special teams, and then being fanatical about taking the ball away. That's going to be something that we're looking for during training camp. And then we're going to go through a bunch of situations. We'll do them at the end of practice, during practice. Situational football is so critical. And from third down to 2 minute and everything that you do, red zone, into game plays, we will work on those tirelessly to get those done. And then we're looking for, like Ryan said about the execution and the competes. We want to see guys compete. We have a lot of spots on the roster that are in flux right now, and we're just trying to find the best combination of players. Be it offensive line, moving a guy from outside to inside to outside. If it's defensive line, moving a guy around for pass rush purposes, inside or outside, we're going to do that all across the roster.
I feel like this is setting up for offensive line movement. This
100%
prerequisite for what Eberflus
absolutely
is saying. Because he's like, I'm going to be honest with you. This is what's going to happen. Don't think anything's set in stone. And we're going to move these guys around. And that's really what's going on. And listen, you got to determine something that's so important. You can't be playing politics. You have to play the best. And I think that is a relief. And no matter where you analyze talent, hopefully this coach, and he'll bring him up later, I believe, the offensive line coach, is going to play the best five.
Moving a corner from inside to outside, receiver, inside to outside.
All this other
all those
minutia,
different
corner,
things to find out the best combination for the Chicago Bears going forward. And when you do that, what you do is you accomplish a couple things. Obviously, seeing guys' skill set, that's an important part, but also the flexibility when injury happens. We're going to have injuries during the course of the year. We're going to have to flex guys, move guys in and out, and we have to be able to see that as coaches and as personnel guys. We got to make sure we see that. What can a guy operate and what can he do? So that's an important piece as well. Now the execution side of it, is going to be big because you got to know what to do, right? So you'll hear me say this a few times. I've said it many times in my past. The whole alignment, assignment, key technique, and speed. To be able to do that, you have to know what to do, and that's an important piece for each individual player to get in his playbook, to make sure he's studying, to make sure he can execute with speed. And that's something we're looking at, and we never walk by that. So setting the standards is a big part. We're never going to walk by a mistake. We measure every single thing with our principles. So it's a big part. We're never going to walk by a mistake. We measure.
We're never going to walk by a mistake. If I make a mistake, I own it. I had to get rid of flip-floppers on the network. I own that. My bad.
Every single thing with our
everything.
So it's a tireless job for the coaches. We look at every single play that
to
accountability.
If it's
to what Marinelli said, right?
That's how we build.
It's now going to be the players are accountable as well for calling out the other guy's mistakes. Right. It's not going to just be the coaches. They're looking for the leaders to point out. They're looking for a bad play that happens and where Nagy was like, okay, on to the next. They're looking for Fields to
I think it's an important
do it
time
again.
of year. I'm excited about it. Ryan and I are super excited about getting going here with the players. We have meetings today, some of the league meetings that you have to have with the players, the mandatory ones, and then we'll have a team meeting tonight at 6 o'clock to outline the day for practice tomorrow. So we'll open it up to questions from there.
So there you go, right there. I mean, that end part is a key component. If you don't have accountability, you have nothing. And you probably should understand how many times we've said this in our life on this network. Like, this guy needed to understand how to hold on to his football team, and he didn't. Now you got a coach that clearly is looking at the tape from last year, is looking at seasons past and the culture, and is basically giving a whole penicillin, a tonic of getting this together. And
So,
it starts
Phil,
there.
Look at what we used to complain about every practice, every training camp, right? Like, we would see the offense line up, it'd be a bad snap or an offsides or something, and they would pick up and just go to the next play, go to the next play. They never executed a play necessarily that had a penalty. They were always just on to the next, on to the next, on to the next. They weren't perfecting the craft. And that's gone. That is way gone. And that's such a big thing for us.
So let me ask you guys this. I know it's been popular in the chat, the questions. Cars, Riley Reiff was brought here for what?
I truthfully think he's going to be the right tackle when, and this is totally a reading of the tea leaves, but when Pohl said, yes, hey guys, tomorrow we're going to have some guys on the PUP / non-football injury list.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of piggybacking off of what we've heard that Jenkins isn't even doing squats. So I think Reiff is been brought in to play that right tackle unless Tevin is able to get fully healthy.
You think right? I think it's going to be left. I really do. And I think he's that veteran that they're going to put there to set the tone, hopefully build competition. That's what these signings are for me. But I think he'll be at left. I think you'll see Borum at right and Jenkins, as you said. I believe he's going to start on the PUP, where unless he's full go, that would be great.
I'd be shocked if he's full go.
Yeah, it seems like there's something there if they're not letting him.
Well, they weren't letting him go. That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say. Talking to someone in the know, like, he didn't have 100% go. So, of course, the guy that's going to have 100% go is going to be number one. So let's rotate these guys when there was a little setback. The setback shit makes you upset because, we all joke about Dan Bazine and stuff like that, but you never know what someone could be based on injury. And it sucks. Kevin White, you could throw him in there. Absolutely. Injuries in football, career ending. It's the most physical game. And you're going to have... Yeah, go ahead.
The issue, right? Bazine was knee for an edge is a killer injury, right? With Tevin, it's the back, which is what killed Chris Williams' career here as well.
Right,
there are some injuries that really hurt.
Here's a little update. Ryan Cox just sent along from Brad Biggs. Riley Reiff's contract has a $3 million base salary. He will receive another $4.5 million if he's on the field for 10% of the offensive snaps, and if the team improves any of 6 offensive categories. We don't know the categories yet. Another $2.5 million is tied to playing time, and there's a $2 million playoff bonus.
Okay.
So those numbers look even better. Yeah. So had you told me 10 to 12 blank, then I like full out,
Yes.
left tackle made a lot more sense.
Right. Yeah. So the 4.5 million for 10% of the snaps. I mean, that's your likely to be earned incentive that they were talking about, that pushes it up there.
It's a prove it type of thing, kind of blown up into a balloon of a dollar sign, which the NFL tends to do all the time. Chris Towner talking about Gabe Karimi. We all know these stories of players that maybe could have had a different story had there not been injury. Tevin, to me, the tape is college tape. Wasn't expecting a back injury year one. Wasn't expecting him not to be starting year one. So now his story has to change. He's done Pilates. Now you bring Riley Reiff in there. I mean, to me, I don't look at it as anything other than competition to find the right pieces now. What is Riley there? Just like Peters, you have these veterans that care about the game, love the game of football, then you want them in your culture. There's no way in fucking hell Ryan Poles and Eberflus signed Riley Reiff on his last leg and is just getting a check. Like, there's a competitiveness in this kid out of Iowa, Shane. Right. Riley Reiff.
So who's opening cars in your thoughts? If he's opening at right tackle, who's at left? Is Jones?
I think Jones and Borum are going to be the two that are going to get the most amount of snaps there and fight it out. Yeah. That's my guesstimate at this point.
So you slotting Schofield in at right guard?
I am. Yeah, I think as of right now, that is clear and away. Your right guard.
I cannot wait till the competition in pads. I just hope you stay true to form in what it is that you're doing with your culture.
I think that's.
We're going to have guys out there covering the camps. Cars let me down, but I mean, go ahead.
No, but I am pretty. But I don't think Eberflus is out there with a bunch of lip service, or Ryan Poles, in terms of they don't really give a fuck about your name. He's said over almost every time they've talked to him, we are looking at every single snap, every single drill. We're reviewing, and that is all going to be brought into it. So that, to me, preaches POP, the performance over politics, and may the best man win.
That's all we can ask.
What if you're a 33-year-old veteran offensive lineman, other than winning the Super Bowl, and that's not even the number one, obviously providing for your family, what is going to motivate you the most? Money.
Right.
You got 4.5 million reasons to hit 10% of the snaps. You know what I mean? To boost that up. So Riley Reiff is no dummy. He's going to be going out there to bust his ass. He can knock out the 10% by
game one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Early. But
it's good. Listen, everybody is I look at Riley Reiff's performance and we see what it is.
Will they practice tomorrow?
Hold on. Pause that. I told Claudio to put that up, but I didn't tell him to play it yet. You look at Riley Reiff's performance, this guy's been solid in places, offenses, and philosophies that may be similar or different. I know people are throwing, he didn't let up a sack or let up one pressure, whatever it is, last year on PFF. I want to see what he does in practices. But I will say this, as a coach, there is a validity to having familiarity in a division where the Packers, your Bears, the Vikings. You've played for the Vikings. You played for the Lions. You know these teams, right? So you have some sort of a leg up. And if you get a competition where the expectation is you're going to protect Justin Fields, we're going to run the ball, we're going to run these outside zone, we're going to ask you to do this, and you have this confidence, right? And this rookie wants this job. Then you're cooking with gas because you already have that established confidence, that understanding of what it is. So Riley Reiff signing to me is brilliant. Doesn't take a shot at Jenkins, doesn't take a shot at anything. It really recognizes trying to get competition for the performance over politics mantra. And I think we should be very happy that they're doing this. And to get Schofield here, Schofield to me is when the Chicago, what was the kid from the Jets? Slauson.
Matt Slauson.
Yep.
Remember you signed Matt Slauson. And everyone's like, and then Slauson comes in here and plays solid football, earns another contract. That's the kind of product you can get from a Schofield that comes in here. But the competition behind him is Zach Thomas. How does he handle this?
Right. And don't forget in this presser, and
Dieter, my boy.
Eberflus has addressed this before.
Yeah.
They're going to play the young. They are not scared to play young guys if they're showing that they can play. He says today in this presser, if you show me that you can play and you're a young guy, you are going to play, and you are going to play a lot.
Right.
If you show me that you can handle it, you're going to play the entire game. You're going to play all the snaps. If you show me that you can play half the game, you're going to play half the snaps. So it's going to be fascinating. And don't forget, what they go out with there tomorrow, I don't think any of that is set in stone, because what do they have to have 4 practices correct before they can put the pads on, or it can come on and practice number 4.
CBA.
And for me, that is going to be the ultimate separator with Tevin Jenkins. If he is healthy, he's the guy that's going to separate himself when they start cracking asses out there.
Has Mustafa bulked up at all?
Yeah, 332 pounds.
He looks like Cartman midway through the Beefcake 5000 right now, where he's just nothing but chunk.
Yeah, so
it's like a fat kid with fun dip, right?
A fat kid with fun dip. I think you got to highlight. I don't know if Bratcher's paying attention still, but you highlight what Shane just said, because there's going to be an overabundance of former limo drivers deciding what that lineup to begin camp means.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you this, I've coached many a year. I don't mince my words, where I felt like I knew a player and they decided to show me that they were something different. And that's the greatest thing about football, especially on the offensive line. No one's talking about Lachavious Simmons. I don't know what Lachavious, because he's even on the fucking roster right now. But Lachavious has the desire in himself, looking in the mirror, to say, my name in this motherfucking thing. He doesn't go in a chat and act like a little bitch. He's out there working his ass off. So
they thought of him more.
I want to see
more of him than Willie Wright. They released Willie Wright today with the new signing.
Did they?
Yeah.
The kid from Florida that they signed, undrafted kid. What's his name?
Yeah.
DeLance. Is that how you say it?
Yeah. Yep.
When you hear a football coach talk, and I don't know if I've ever been this happy to be on a show, because I heard, we're not putting a ceiling on any of you. That's me.
Right. Well, now, but this is the difference, and I don't want to take this down a different lane.
Go ahead.
I happen to believe what he's preaching. I just said that, and I do still. The proof is not going to be tomorrow or even the next day. It's going to be week 4, week 6. You know what I mean? Eberflus
It's gonna be in the middle of a losing
is
streak.
just as right. They lose 4 in a row, and he believes in these. Are you still going to be putting it out there, or is there a guy? Is it? Hey, Robert Quinn's out there making. He has no guaranteed money left on his deal. He's made, what is it, 18 million, whatever. He's making 15 million. I can't remember exactly what his contract is. If he's out there
12.5,
and he's not producing,
you better bench his ass.
Are you going to bet? But that's my point.
We are going to break it down.
His season last year was fantastic. I understand it. His history has showed he's going to have a regression this year. That's been his history in the league. Monster year.
Don't go by the history. I know,
no,
what
but
you're
Phil,
saying.
my
He's
point.
Been hurt. I
my
think you
point.
Could go there.
Not every year after a big year he's been hurt. I'm just saying, but it's a lot to me is going to be proven. Like Carr said, if they go out and lose 4 in a row, and you look and Robert Quinn has a half a sack and 4 tackles, and we're watching it and on tape, he's not supplying the pressure. Does Matt Eberflus have enough balls to be like, sit down, Rob?
Yeah.
Kids going in there. Dude. Dominique Robinson comes in and has a game and where he's got 2.5 sacks. That's what I'm just saying.
I'm saying you guys would always make fun of me at the old network. They would make fun of me. But I have more passion in my fucking pinky than some of these frauds, even in the fucking chat, acting like a bitch do. You got to understand the reality is accountability. No matter what you get paid, no matter what you sell, you have to freaking back up the owner, the GM. Once you've bought the groceries, Poles, I have it from here. Nobody's fucking playing half-ass. I saw Adeptus say, hey, Leno or Reiff in a fucking slap fight. Riley Reiff would kick the living shit out of Leno. Leno's talking shit about the Bears now. The season hasn't even begun. He's already talking shit about the Bear. Let's see what he does. But Shane's 100% right. You have to treat everybody like I just did just now. You don't fucking play hard, Robert Quinn. I love Robert Quinn.
Yep.
I defended Robert Quinn every time. But if Robert Quinn is loafing, he's out.
He did show up to camp, which everybody sat down and said he wasn't going to. So he did show up, which I think speaks tremendous volumes as to where he's at, and he's going to be here, and it's not going to be a lack of effort thing.
Well, is he going to be on the field?
Let me ask you this, Cars. I know Ryan Poles said he has not had that conversation with Robert Quinn, which I find hard to believe, and they're not going to broadcast that publicly. But if I'm the general manager and I know kind of his feelings, I think he loves Chicago. I think he loves the Bears. I don't think he loves the situation of thinking about a rebuild at his age. But if I'm Ryan Poles, a long time ago, I'm going to Robert Quinn and his agents and saying, we're going to look around, and if there's nothing, you're going to be on this team. But when camp opens up, if you don't show up, that makes everything infinitely more difficult on my end, because that's really backing the Bears into a corner. And if he comes to camp, if he extends that olive branch that way, I think Ryan Poles, I think this could be a wink, wink, nod, nod situation. You show up to camp, you do what's expected of you, and I'm going to go above and beyond trying to make you happy. And maybe he's given him a list of teams that he knows are interested, and Ryan Poles is going to look at those. But so it's going to be fascinating to see how this unfolds.
So I don't think he's wrong when he says he hasn't had that conversation with Robert Quinn, because I think he's had that conversation
With the
with his
representative,
agent,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
always that fun game. It's absolutely correct. Any player that sits down and holds out or does that instantly lowers their trade value, instantly
100%.
lowers all of it. And a guy like Robert, you want him on the roster because his cap number isn't too bad, and you
No
want him
guaranteed
there.
money. That's a big part there. That's huge.
And you want, him around Travis Gibson, around Dominique Robertson, right? Like all those key kids, you want them there. If he's going to be difficult, absolutely. And I think what's going to be really interesting is the closer we get to the season, probably like before week 4 of the preseason, if he's going to get moved, he's either going to get moved then, or it's going to be right before the trade deadline at the end.
It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. All I can say in all truth is I am excited about the culture that's being built
Absolutely.
here.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing.
Right.
You're holding a situation and a showcase of it, recognizing the truth is Roquan's contract is being talked about, but we don't want it to be a distraction. We want to focus on, and you saw Eberflus.
Roquan's made it a distraction by not having any representation.
Exactly. Like we want to just do what we need to do.
It's a massive mistake on his part. I mean, what is the going rate for an agent? It's like 4% or something like that. And it's a massive distraction trying to negotiate your own NFL contract.
Oh,
massive one. It's
Here they are.
If I set
you have
your
a
own value to
option
your wife.
already. Exactly.
Yeah.
You already have a 5th-year option. And you're coming in, you have a contract. You've been optioned. So get to camp, play your ass off, and show everybody what your worth is. And that's the reality of
he's not a fifth round guy that doesn't have. He's a top 10 draft
plenty
pick
of money.
That's had a bunch of guaranteed money.
I know he spent a lot of money on breakfast for fun.
And he's already held out. He's already held out once. Let's be honest.
Yes.
And he held out because, again, over guaranteed money should he get suspended, right?
Yeah.
So he's been very financially focused the entire time.
Well, I just can't tell you guys. Again, it's since Ditka. I've said it on my show many times, and there's 410 of you on a pop-up show to give you a taste of what we do on Patron.
Is that more than
best Bears coverage out there, and we'll continue to do that. I've been promoting it all night. You look at this football team from the glass ivory tower, you might not understand because we're giving awards to everybody. But if you look at it from the old school days, like I was saying with Ditka, I have not seen this kind of culture saying everybody's accountable. Coach, you're accountable if you see this guy in a drill not do it right and you don't redo the drill. We asked David Montgomery. We asked Dieter Eisland. We asked Larry Borum on this network. Did coach stop practice and redo a drill or redo a team play if they fucked it up? And they to a man said no, never.
Right. Let me just address this with where was Chubb's thing. Chubb's, we're not saying that the holdout can't be beneficial to the player.
He already did get paid, Chubb.
But the thing about it is Roquan isn't helping himself by not having any representation. He's trying to do all of that himself because he wants to save the 4% fee that would go to his agent who would handle all of that. He's not doing himself any favors at all that way.
And it's not like honestly, the NBA where there's there's maxes and it's done. There is little nuance to this in language, and you're going to pay a lawyer to go look over language, but you're It's basically like representing yourself in court. It's not really the
You're
best
not concentrating. You're not concentrating on football if you're representing yourself in contract negotiations. Can't. It's impossible.
No, you can't. You're absolutely right.
The reality of this stuff is going to be answered with pads on. And the ceiling talk, not limiting anybody, goes back to performance over politics. Performance over politics. That's the stuff I want to see from my football team, my coach. We haven't seen that in a long time. It didn't happen under Dick Duran. It didn't happen under Lovey. And we've talked about Lovey before. It didn't happen under Mark Trestman for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Lovey focused a lot on defense. It probably happened on that side of the ball, but not on the offensive side of the ball. And I'm talking about the team. I'm not talking about one side or the other. I'm talking about the head coach saying, okay, we're running counter right, or we're running bootleg, and we did not fucking mesh off action. Get back, Justin, and do the fucking thing again. This is how they learn. This is how they learn.
Yeah, it is. And just to wrap up the Roquan stuff, I know it can get nauseating at some point, but my gut tells me that a deal is going to get done. And I think you have to, I mean, if there was any question about the Bears and anything like that, you know, this is where I feel, and I know I know Adam Rank always points out, you guys need to leave the Bears social media team alone. Roquan Smith was front and center when the Bears unveiled their alternate logo. He was the guy to unveil it. To me, it should have been number one. Should have been your quarterback out there doing that if I'm running the social media department. But to me, if there was any question within the building about wanting Roquan, I don't even think that they put him
anywhere
out
near it.
on those. That's why I think the deal gets done. I think they're disappointed because they're trying to get a deal done, and you're working with a novice trying to build, you know, a rocket ship. You can't be a big-time NFL football player and handle everything else beyond that with your finances, trying to secure a market-setting deal for the linebacker position. Inside
linebacker.
Yeah.
I agree with everything you guys.
I think it'll get done. I think Roquan Smith will be a Chicago Bear. I am leery on what the money is going to be, but
well, and I mean, if you look at it, it's kind of ironic, right? Like right now, Roquan is, I think he's like the 4th or 5th highest paid inside linebacker in the NFL right now. But he's looking at outside linebacker money, and that's what he wants, right? And it's a different skill set. So this is going to be his first true time playing more of an outside role. We're going to find out exactly.
You got to find out exactly. Does he buy into the culture? Does he buy into the culture? I don't know. I got to address Jimmy K. We are not arguing. Soccer players are the most overpaid athletes, Claudia will tell you.
And they have no cap.
They have no cap. They have no rules. They can jump from one country to the next. Their loyalty is zero. We know about foreign loyalty, right? Football is a financial, no doubt. There's a cap. There's rules. They manipulate contracts and numbers and all of this stuff. But I agree with you. If we were looking at it intellectually, then you would say, yeah, football players should be the highest paid because they're putting their life on hockey players right thereafter. And then you go down a rugby player. But that's not how this game is. So we can't assess this stuff like that, Jimmy. Not that you're wrong. Not that you're wrong. I get what you're saying.
Yes, they get $20 million. The Real Madrid's soccer team's payroll is $300 million, right, for this upcoming year. And is another 90 million more. These guys get paid 45 million just to get transferred to another team. Like, if we think that United States billionaires are rich owners, they pale in comparison to what these soccer guys do. So yeah, you're right. It's completely different. And you can't compare the two. Oh boy, Jackal.
Jackal is our Adam Schefter working the phones.
What the fuck?
Working the phones, Jackal. I love it. He's doing the drops, chat room, working the phones, keeping us all abreast. Shane is muted.
I am. I was cracking a beer. My bad.
I'm excited about setting the tone. Let's see. This is the first GM real quick before. I think we have some Roquan information here that you guys can put up there. I don't know why. Is this the Roquan stuff?
Yeah.
No. There we go.
Will they practice tomorrow?
So on my way down here, I was told they're here. I haven't seen them myself, but I was told that they're here.
So can you expect them to practice as usual if they're here?
Right now, we're going through the check-in process. That's by noon, and we'll kind of take it one step at a time with that.
What has Roquan communicated to you in regards to his intentions for this camp and what exactly is on his mind?
I'm just, I'm not going to get into just that situation at this time.
Are you going to talk about it if he's not practicing?
Am I going to talk about if he's not practicing?
If he, as a
Of course he's going to have to, because you're going to ask Brad. What was the question? That was like my teenage daughter asking a snarmy question thereafter. Like, are you going to talk about if he doesn't practice tomorrow? Ask him tomorrow. You're going to ask him. Like,
so when you say you don't want to talk about it, do you not want to talk about it? Or can I ask you questions 47,000 times until you answer? It's like your kid in a car going,
is this
Mom? Why?
Is this the 24-hour no? With your wife?
Why?
Hey, can I get some loving tonight? No. Well, what about now? It's been 7 minutes. It's
like Jim Carrey. So you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, so you're saying
there's a chance. Come on, Brad. Jeez.
We discuss it then. I
mean,
I don't know what his intentions are. I know he checked in, and we're gonna take it from there and gather information and take it one step at a time. That's all I can do.
Brad.
Somebody who participated in every single OTA. Mm-hmm. Did you have an appreciation for that from him?
No, we fucking hated it.
We were super mad.
Was that Pat Finley?
Yeah. I was waiting for Nicholas Moriano to say, "Hey, Coach Flus, what's the T-shirt motto going to be when camp opens?"
Is that
You're automatically losing 2 games to the Packers. I think that's the shirt that they're
0-2.
Coach, since we've lost 2 to the Packers already. So, because Aaron, did you watch Aaron walk into practice like he's on an episode of fucking Twilight?
No, he looks like Nick Cage in Con Air, and it's ironic to go the Nick Cage route now that he's dating.
Did you notice him throwing the bag? What was up with him walking and then throwing the bag down and continue to walk?
Bitch, you take my motherfucking
Jordan
bag.
Love, get that fucking bag.
Like, put that on your next hype video, Jordan Love, that you're throwing off your back foot the entire time.
Oh my God. He does not know anything about likability. Oh my God. But anyway, Coach, is that autumn gray that you're wearing this year?
Veteran offensive lineman you signed this week. What type of shape are they in? Like, do you expect them to be able to jump right in there tomorrow?
They're fat and overweight. They're old.
Yeah, so
They're proud of it.
we'll go through that process. Obviously, there's a process to sign them, and that's a physical. Make sure that stuff's taken care of, and then from there, we'll see what shape they're in and adjust accordingly. But again, the purpose of that is for them to come in and compete and make that unit better.
Matt, the idea of the hold-in is relatively new because of the CBA in 2020. How do you go about
The hold-in.
incorporating these players who might be
Our
physically
favorite
present
chick,
but not?
right there. Our favorite female reporter. Let me correct myself.
Thank you, sir.
Strike that reporter from the court record. Courtney Cronin will be on the airways over here at TTNL in the next couple weeks talking about this camp. Tomorrow we will have Herb Howard on talking about his first eyes on camp, who was out there. And next week we will have everybody's favorite. She's always in the intro of the song. Where's Bratcher for that trivia question? What reporter is in the intro of the Keeping It 100 song? Does Claudio know?
Deion Miller.
Yes, she will be Deion Miller. AB couldn't even get that one right, Shane. She will be, Deion Miller will be next Wednesday. So this Wednesday, we got camp covered. We're going to have our guys out at camp. So Deion Miller will be next week.
Participating in specific drills.
Courtney will
I'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But really, you want to just get the max out of them. Whatever they can do, and go from there. But we'll cross that bridge when we.
Just got breaking news, Shane. I believe Julio Jones is now with Tommy Brady. Or is that?
Did Bullets give you that breaking news that came
like
out
4 hours ago? Good.
I didn't know. Yeah. Bullets just texted me. I was like,
oh boy.
I was focused on the Bears.
You'll have
Polls
to.
didn't even like that. We'll have to.
I'm not going to talk about that.
Okay.
Does that complicate things? I mean, not knowing who to to get a resolution to something that's obviously pretty high profile.
If a player didn't have an agent, it would be different situation then.
He's saying if they're cars. Is that alluding to that he does? Or is he saying, yes, this is difficult?
I think this is just a semantics game because he's getting tired of these questions. He's like, listen, we said we're not going to talk about it. Stop asking fucking questions about it. And
if they did,
if you ask, without getting into the
specifics, I think you're right.
How do you feel we ended up here with the Bears and Roquan Smith, where both sides, you and him, have been saying for months you intended to have a future together? It seemed like a foregone conclusion. And how much of an issue is it now that this is how you start training camp with him?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get into the contract piece, but, like I said about him, nothing's changed from my end in terms of how I feel about the player and what he can bring to this team.
Matt, what does Roquan, from your perspective, mean on the field for you?
Say it again, I'm sorry.
What does Roquan mean on the field for you? What have been your impressions?
Yeah, it's really the same as Ryan's saying. Leader, obviously a really good player. He's put some good snaps out there. He's played a ton of football and some really good football. So we feel the same about that. That's not going to change, and we anticipate that going forward too.
Do you think comparing him to Darius?
Do you think it's
this part
so
where you just
sad
paused
that they
it?
Continue to ask about it?
This part where you just paused it, they're going to do the Shaq Leonard, Darius Leonard comp.
Yes.
He thought it wasn't fair and didn't really want to compare players, but Leonard was his guy. Roquan is his guy now on his team. Mm-hmm. To me, I don't know, maybe I'm over analyzing this, but Cars, did that mean anything to you that he didn't go out of his way to heap praise, even more praise on Roquan when you're talking about Darius Leonard? Because to me, that says that they're in the midst of a big contract negotiation, and the head coach isn't going to go out there and say, oh, absolutely, this guy's just as good as Leonard, who's got this huge contract. right? Isn't that?
I think that's part of it. But again, when you talk about the difference between the two, one guy has proven it multiple seasons, right? I mean, he's done this, and the other guy, we're still talking about great tackler, a lot of potential in the pass game, a lot of potential in the pass rush. But we're, if we're going to hammer performance over politics right now, Leonard has had the performance, and Roquan right now is more of the politics side of it. Doesn't mean he won't get there, but he's betting on himself, and the franchise isn't willing to pay someone more than what he's shown himself to be at this moment.
Comparing it to Darius, I don't think comparisons. Everybody's different. They all got different skill sets. They're both really good linebackers.
Ryan, without getting into contract at all, is it your preference to get it done with Roquan now, or would you prefer a chance to get to?
Without getting into contracts, can we talk about money for Roquan real quick?
That's a tough question. I mean, I'm not going to get into.
Bulls didn't know what to say there.
Thoughts on what I would prefer and all of that. I just kind of deal with what's on the table right now.
Actually, the best moment of the day in any presser was
Patrick
shitting all over Hub when he was trying to compare Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields. He's like, "Well, yeah, it's a private conversation." Well, I'm not. He tried to shift it, and Lucas just shit all over him. It was great.
Yeah.
According to Hub, it's extremely likely that the Bears will start the season off 0-4, and this is on record. He said
this is Hub. This is Hub saying this. Okay.
If the Chicago Bears were to upset the Green Bay Packers in week 2, it would be one of the biggest upsets in the history of the NFL.
Must have been at the top of your fucking class.
They're not even the best team in the division. I'm sorry. They just aren't right now. I don't get this.
Taking a week 2 game,
right,
in an NFL season and creating it into that
it would be an upset. Yes, one of the biggest in the history of the league.
There's
right
nothing
the fuck
on
out
the
of here.
line.
Exactly.
It was a big upset when the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Broncos.
Maybe his hoop earring is crusting into his earlobe and it's got into his bloodstream. Who knows?
God.
The Giants beating the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Smoke weed every day.
From them in the off-season program. And then I think it's safe to say if you felt like they were trenches starters, you wouldn't have gone out and
Talking about Jenkins and Borum. Borum and Jenkins.
33-year-old veteran tackle with starting experience like Reiff has. So what do they still have to prove to you here in training camp before the season starts?
Yeah, we got a ways to go. If you think about the off-season program, everything's done in helmets, so we still got pads. I thought they both did a pretty good job. I know that they were challenged in the off-season to continue to work on their bodies, to adapt to the scheme that we're running. And, we'll see here in a couple hours, how they did this offseason. But again, I think the way to look at it is just adding competition for guys to compete, and you got to go. You got to perform, and that's for everyone.
The offensive line, it's understandable wanting to move guys around to find your best 5.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a deadline by which you want to have that starting unit set so you can get that unit gelling for week 1?
I would say there's not a deadline, but like I said in the spring, the sooner the better. We just added a couple pieces, so
the deadline
that's
is
going
going
to
to be
2 more pieces to the
August
puzzle. So
12th,
which is a great thing. Like I said, with the position flex and guys moving in and out, moving to guard center, inside, outside, from guard to tackle. So we'll figure it out. I know this. Chris Morgan's a heck of a line coach, and we'll figure it out with him and Getsy, and we're excited about that.
September 10th, they got to have September 10th. They will have the line picked up by.
That would be the most important thing. Break down competition in camp. We're going to have guys going out to camp. If you're a TTNL fan all 438 of you. If you're going to camp, let me or Shane or Jackal, Claudio, or Cars know, and we can make you our eyes for the day. Come on here, talk about it. And what were you going to say?
No, here's an interesting tweet from, nobody would be surprised, David Haw.
Yeah.
Listening to this uninspiring news conference from Bears GM Ryan Poles and coach Eberflus, it's really difficult to get people to believe in what you want to do when you're so concerned with what you won't say. Or if the Bears were looking to set a tone, they're still looking. Yeah, it's because it's a fucking... None of it matters, David, till they get on the fucking field and start winning football games.
I thought David played at Tulsa. Like you gotta have a little bit of understanding of what we can say versus what we can't. If your GM comes out the gate and says, guys, look, and this is the hypocritical thing. Here's this first time GM, but Ryan Pace, guys, you gotta understand that I can't say and give a compare. Okay. And then the question stopped. There might have been one. This, as EJ, my boy EJ Jones was saying, it's getting ridiculous, the amount of questions about Roquan. And it's annoying because it's taking away from some of the other things that need to be addressed or asked. And you haven't even put on the pads. That's the thing. That's the thing that really, and David Haw and a lot of the media. Listen, if the Bears didn't sign Brisker today, I would be livid tonight. And I would say, this is a fucking dumbass move. You got $100 million in space next year. If this is over a fucking petty $100,000 for this kid, then you're doing, that didn't happen. They got him signed. He's in camp. That's headway. So now that's not on Hall's agenda or Hubs. It's Roquan or it's whatever. Listen, I'm not on this network. We won't manipulate the truth. These guys have to do their job. But what Brad Biggs did, I thought that was freaking teenage girl drama.
Yeah.
And you need to be better than that. We'll give him a pass in 2022. I don't remember how long he's been on the beat. I know he doesn't like me, but I want to bury the hatchet in humility and have him on here to talk this out. But the reality is, it's the first night of camp. The GM was even honest. Those guys showed up. I haven't even seen them. They weren't here. They just showed up. That's truthful.
If Ryan Poles came out and was completely transparent and told these guys everything, nothing was off limits, and then Roquan Smith went out and signed for $22.5 million per, David Haw would be the first guy to say, you said too much in the presser yesterday.
Right.
Brian, you said too much.
Can't
you
win.
Could have saved yourself a couple $1 million a year. So exactly. It's this way every single NFL team. I mean, Bill Belichick won't even give the titles of his offensive and defensive coordinators yet. Still hasn't.
And here's the difference. And we get the worst of both because Shane's telling you on one end, the media, then we got to deal with the Bill Belichick is also the guy fucking live stream practice. I don't give a fuck if they're going to watch us run fullback dive a few times. God. We're giving it away. The Bears haven't gotten everything right.
Can you imagine if we streamed practice last year? We might have won like fucking 6 games, dude. It would have been a terrible season. Wait a minute. Oh, fuck. Right? I mean, the Patriots are just going out and winning fucking Super Bowls every year. They're
This invention here is called the Cobb Quickie. Hands down the
I don't know where
somebody wedged that one in there, but
that was
our
a reach.
drops have been a little off tonight.
Gotta be Jackal. That was a Jackal or a Claudio drop.
Where's Bratcher?
It's gotta be Bratcher.
Bratcher is honestly getting prepared for tomorrow night. This guy's putting together a piece for us. So let's see what he does, Shane. He's hyped it up. He's working on the Rod Marinelli and everything to go. I know
Mistake
he
number
will
one,
be
never,
there.
Never hype it up.
Alex Acevedo and Bratcher will be at camp Saturday.
Yeah, they're riding in a golf cart.
Gonna drive in through the golf cart. They'll go. If you're a patron, you'll be able to see these two guys at camp on Saturday. Let's watch. Where are the two players? The two players, Claudio. Do you have those guys? Lucas Patrick and Justin Fields. No go? No
Efforting.
Efforting.
Claudio number one or Claudio number two that shall remain.
There,
Claudio.
there it is.
There he is.
There he is. Thank you, Claudio.
Yeah, it feels good. You know, I think everybody had a well-needed break and, you know, got a lot of work done in the off-season. So, of course, everybody's definitely excited to be back.
Justin, what were your last couple of weeks like? Did you relax at all, or was it all work?
No, I kind of relaxed, like, right after vet minicamp. Kind of took like a week and a half
Justin,
off,
can you talk about Roquan's contract for a second? What do you think that should be?
I actually took a family vacation to Cabo, so that was nice. Went out there. It was probably one of the nicest vacations I've been on, so it was really nice out there for sure.
Sports mockery tomorrow. Justin Fields not locked in. Goes on vacation.
It was good.
Justin Fields water sliding in Cabo.
So it was nice, you know, just hanging out with a lot of players around the league, kind of just picking their brains and, of course, you know, working out with them. So it was definitely a good time down there.
Justin, can you articulate how different it feels showing up for training camp this year?
Dion.
A year ago, so much has changed for you, for the team. How are you?
Yeah, just how I feel. My
Hit pause real quick on this. I want to ask a question with these two guys out here. Do you not think who's doing the turn that off? Jesus,
that was me. Sorry.
Not doing a Manscaped read, but
I was playing it for Cherie and her boy.
Don't you think that this sends a message that this is the tandem?
Oh yeah, center. Tom Thayer right now is
that's what Tom Thayer. Olin was all in on Patrick going to right guard, or Patrick going to right guard, and Sam being the starting center. Yeah, to me, this is
the middle.
That's done. It was never a thing. This is the icing on the fuck no cake that's happening right now.
And I also, to go along with Brisker, if I saw Sam Mustipher starting at center and not Lucas Patrick, I would literally lose all of my faith in this coaching staff. And I mean that truthfully, because you can't go out there and talk about prick and leadership and culture change and everything that you did with Getsy and getting this offense going, and then all of a sudden put somebody in there that isn't Lucas Patrick, because Lucas Patrick has that demeanor of leadership. Lucas Patrick could call the fronts. I said this with James Daniels, probably the most talented offensive lineman on last season's roster, right? You could teach James Daniels to call out the mic and use his personality. But we had a shit coach, and we had a bunch of lazy asses with no accountability. You know what happens to James Daniels? He's gone. He's gone. That's what happens. You don't want to be here. So now you do this. If you fucking put Sam out there to start over this guy, you've taken 3 steps back.
Just our team, like our team as a whole, we just feel closer. I think this year, just in my opinion, but just everybody on the teams.
Now, with that being said, I will say this. I'll pause it again. If Sam Mustipher pulls the Hub Arkish, I'll say this, Cars. You'll agree with me probably here. The biggest upset of all time would be Sam Mustipher going out there, balling out, and being an absolute athletic, strong at the point of attack offensive lineman. If that happens,
At that
I
rate.
will go on a praise Sam rant like you never
We're
heard.
all getting
because
we're all getting Mustapher jerseys if that happens. Like
I agree.
That's what we're gonna do. Yeah.
Put it in writing right here.
I'd
If
still only
Sam
make
does
it.
it-
I'd still only make it a jersey. I'm not going full jersey for Mustapher.
Oh, you better. If he's that dominant and he's a top tier center, if you don't do it, you're getting choke slammed. So
Can we
I'm
do
just
the
saying.
Ryan Cox holding it up in the air, Sam Mustapher jersey, Cars, and I'll tweet it out.
Done.
Listen, I
love you,
the
Ryan.
jersey. We will get the jerseys.
All right, done deal.
We have a budget. We have apparently we have a budget here, Shane.
Yeah. I guess let's donate it all to some charity.
Let's
Decided, we're trying to, all accomplish one goal, and we're just ready to get to work. So.
Eberflus said your footwork and fundamentals are through the roof. You've got a good grasp of the offense from OTAs. What's your next big challenge for training camp coming up?
Just keep improving each and every day. Try to learn.
I love Lucas. I love Patrick's face. He's like, "Why am I here?
As long as
no one's gonna ask me a question."
Continue to get better each and every day.
What's your biggest challenge at training?
He shits all over Hub here in a second.
I hope Claudio cut the Hub discrimination.
Just with everything, I think.
Also, props to Justin for wearing the Dickerson T-shirt. I thought that was a cool.
Yeah, you gotta
good touch.
Gotta respect
That's a cool move.
If he would have only worn the Keep It at 100, that would have been the top.
He's got one.
He has one.
Word on the street. Yeah.
He has a Keep It at 100.
Just being on time with the routes, the concepts that we have in the offense, and just playing on time with my feet. So I think as long as I do that, we're gonna have a good amount of success. So.
Hello.
We got more.
Oh.
What happened? Claudio.
Listen.
What's going on? You're having
Dude,
a tough time.
you're bringing me on.
Yes.
Let me address this soccer situation.
I don't know what happened. Yeah, honestly, bro.
Claudio is coming on with this.
Oh boy.
He freezes. Take a picture of him, Cars. Hurry up.
And we got
it's frozen again.
Moist.
All right.
Oh shit.
Do we have the Lucas Patrick?
We're working on it. Yep.
Okay.
We are.
We're working on it. Here it is.
We'll edit.
There
we'll
it
edit
is.
this out in post.
Is there anything you
All
see
right.
in particular from him in the offseason that
consider
just
that.
heightens the anticipation of what can happen with him this year?
It's been exciting to watch. I think physically what he can do that's been extremely impressive. And
Let's listen to this again. It's not that long of a clip. So the guy that they're talking about sitting right next to you, it's like, I think the Bears did a disservice to Lucas Patrick, even though I like that they're sending a message that he's the center and all of that.
Yeah.
But I think he deserved his own time and Justin deserved his own time because it was like the Justin show. And my producers were saying the same thing.
I don't think he gives two fucks. Though.
I don't, but what is he going to say here?
I think it was a
Listen to the
message
question.
sent that these guys are literally, pretty soon, literally attached at the, thumbs and inner thighs. That's the way that I feel. I mean, I think it was more about optics than anything.
No, I get it. There is a strategy to it. Bratcher wants to just stream to 4 spots. That's a strategy. Let's listen.
Your belief in Justin grown as you've gotten to know him and work with him, and is there anything you've seen in particular from him in the offseason that just heightens the anticipation of what can happen with him this year?
It's been exciting to watch. I think physically
He's sitting
what he
right
can
next
do
to me, and
that's been extremely impressive and something I was excited when I was coming in. But I think one thing that I think Coach Flus has talked about it quite a bit, but being situational masters, and I think Juan's done a really good job with that. And we had quite a few.
I like how he nodded his head over there.
Scenarios or other in-game
Didn't
scenarios.
see it.
And I think Juan's done a really good
Look at
job with
that.
that. And
One.
we had quite a few just little 2-minute scenarios or other in-game scenarios, and to watch him take the lead in that, because we all know
Justin's like, yeah,
90% of games
this
come down to
motherfucker's gonna be
that
blocking
last
for me.
drive.
All right.
And just to watch him take command and understand that each 2-minute drive has its own intricacies and details, and kind of learn from each, and also take command of the guys when, a few mistakes might happen from a young guy, or maybe I do something, and for him to harp on us in a way that, hey, this is going to win us games, and that's important, and that's
Here comes Hub.
That's what makes a good leader, and a good quarterback, a good quarterback.
Lucas, obviously, Aaron Rodgers is going to the Hall of Fame, and you have some expertise on his impact. What if
Hey, you're a fucking idiot. It's a personal combo.
It's hard to hear. It's hard to hear. So Shane, could you translate what Hub just asked?
He just wanted him to compare attributes of, what would be similar between Justin Fields and Aaron Rodgers. And
he leads it off by saying, obviously, Aaron Rodgers is future Hall of Famer, going to the Hall of Fame. That's what he says to begin with. Okay, guys?
If you listen to all of Hub's questions, there's well, we're not going to talk about contracts, but if we could get some financial figures of what you could potentially be offering, you know what I mean? He leads in.
I don't want to know what happens.
It's after the first day
tell me what happens at the end
I'm
of the tour.
taking us backwards with the press.
I think that's a private conversation. Don't like comparing players.
I'm not talking about comparing, I'm just saying, is there anything that
No, that's exactly what you're asking, you asshole.
You asked it at first to compare.
Yeah.
And now you're not asking it. So he switches the question.
I don't want you to compare. I just want you to tell me where they're similar and where they're different. Like I'm not asking you to compare.
I don't want
those
you to
guys.
compare Angelo Joe Marino from Wallingford, Connecticut, and Alan Bratcher, but if they were similar, what ways would they be both the same? Talk about it.
Here. Hub pushes back now.
Like comparing players.
I'm not talking about comparing, I'm just saying, is there anything that you saw in him that you would suggest to Justin would be?
Well, that would be a comparison. If we're being
I like that he said, yeah, but we're going to keep those conversations private.
We're going to keep it private, but I'm not comparing. I'm just saying if there were similarities.
Well, he might have been thrown out. He
Maybe,
probably had
but maybe not.
seen a middle-aged white guy with a big hoop earring.
But maybe not. That'd be something.
Make this a drop for the show. Maybe or maybe not.
Maybe,
Ready?
but maybe not.
Yeah, that's the perfect
Someone
drop.
who would cheer in private.
I love Justin's face too. You see him? He's just like,
Maybe or maybe not. Maybe I said something.
Breaking news. The tape never lies. Network breaking news.
always come through.
Ryan Cox.
One day.
There he is.
Ryan Cox. All right, we got the last
Yep,
bit
I got it up.
of good job, Claudio.
There's
of
a
pressing.
clip. That's going to be a
Look
perfect.
up.
AKA
Breaking news. Claudio got it up.
Claudio got it up.
Scapegoat.
Somebody's getting pregnant.
Hold on. Rel Remy in the house. I got to shout out Rel Remy. There's not going to be many shout outs tonight, but Rel Remy, I was just thinking about.
There's no
Rel.
shout outs. That's not this
I know,
show.
There's no shout outs. But I'm just saying, Rel Remy. I missed that guy. Rel, I was thinking about you today. All right, this is some great stuff here. This is how you end the show.
Raising the standards around here. I'm curious, in the last few months, have you felt that in any specific ways where you've noticed a difference in any regard?
Raising the standard. I mean, it's really just establishing the standard. Really, is my biggest thing. I mean, it's different than what the.
What a great job course correcting Dan Wiederer. I'm not.
It's hard to say something nice about him, but he did do well here.
Yes.
Standard was last year. So, I mean, it's hard to say to raise it, but they are coming in and reestablishing a different culture, reestablishing a different foundation, a different way of doing things, a different way of moving. And then I feel like once we get that establishment and that foundation, as a team, the leaders are enforcing that, and then I feel like then we can take that step to truly raise their standard. But I feel like it really starts with the foundation and establishing what they want us to do as a leader, and Justin here too as a leader, establishing their foundation and then getting the guys to buy into it. And then once we establish that, then we can take it a step further, and I would say to raise that standard.
Matt's made it clear how he wants you guys to practice. Have you figured out a formula on being able to go as hard as he wants you to go on every rep and still make it through 6 weeks of training camp without any setback? Is there any way to pace yourself during
Formula?
Yeah,
You better be mentally
Ask
strong.
John
You
Wood,
gotta
he's
go.
probably got
I mean,
one.
it's not going to be easy. It's not something that really, I feel like it's hard to say to prepare for. I mean, I don't care how much you ran in the off season. That's not going to simulate you running routes, you blocking, you getting knocked to the ground, you making tackles, you having to get off blocks. That's not, you can't get that type of look in the off season. So I mean, really, it's going to be a mental battle to keep pushing through it, to keep challenging your body each and every day, and then really taking care of your body when you have some downtime. Not putting the wrong things in your body, not getting enough sleep. So I mean, it's really more mental in your preparation and just fighting through that uncomfort that is going to come for sure.
Good stuff. Good job, Claudio.
Of some of the things that have changed with the new staff coming in, what have you liked? What have been some changes that you have felt like are really good changes around here?
Putting on the do-rag during the interview.
Have been some changes that you have felt
stole
like
that
are really
from Hub.
good changes around here?
Good changes. I would just say with the consistency, really. They haven't really changed the expectations for anybody in the building. I feel like it really kind of takes it back to the fundamentals, really just playing football hard, playing football the right way. And I feel like they established a good sense of tough-nosed football. And I wouldn't say that our last staff didn't. I just think that their emphasis is a lot more. I feel like they're emphasizing
He's trying
really
to
run into the ball. Like you guys know, we got to be in shape. We're going to be running a lot more.
You could see the
And
smile. He's
everything's just
trying to
emphasized
word
differently.
this.
Everything is just being harped on. And I mean, the way that they count loafs, the way that they just hold us accountable is crazy.
Okay.
Just hold us
Let's
accountable.
just pause right there.
Yeah.
Ready? Wait. Who's taking it off? For God's sake, now I gotta find this. Claudio.
No.
That's why it's so important.
Wrong one.
Because in the
Oh,
game,
another one
No,
came
that's
up.
a different one. Yep.
Compared to
Can you hold
what
on?
we're used to. The way that
There
they
it is. The accountability. The accountability.
count loafs, the way that they just hold us.
Do you see his eyes looking to the left? He's like, this is different than I've ever dealt with before. The way they're asking us to go. Now, right now, he might buy into it, and he's going to buy into it, and hopefully he becomes the great pro. But this is what Cars, myself, Shane, my father, Coach O, have been asking for. Is that look on Jalen Johnson's face when he's talking about comparing from last. He was trying to not ruffle feathers, but this is the tell-all. Like, no, this is some fucking, they are holding us accountable and no one is getting out. I don't care how much you get paid. Performance over politics. Play it. It froze. Of course it
compared
froze.
to what we're used to, really. But I mean, I feel like it's all going to pay off. I feel like you can never be in too much shape. You can never be too physical. You can never play football hard enough. So I mean, I feel like it's all for good measure, for good purpose. But I mean, it's definitely going to be a challenge, and I feel like we're up for it.
Some of the
So there you go. I think that moment is
Most
very
gonna be there. To have that
important.
trust, you know what I'm saying, in the guys. You got
We jumped.
been called out.
We jumped the shark. That moment is him not wanting to ruffle feathers, but ultimately the truth shall set you free. Like there's a narrative that people want to write or say or be a nice guy on a post or go in a chat room and say things that aren't true.
I got it up.
And then there's Claudio being truthful about him getting it up and what Jalen was saying about what's going on with the difference in this culture, in this regime, as they're changing and holding accountability. It's all we wanted. Let's hear Justin Jones.
You guys been called out in the film sessions for not going hard enough.
We
Oh,
all
this is
have.
great.
I mean, if anybody says they haven't, they lying to y'all.
For sure.
Yep.
What's that moment like when the guy gets spotlighted?
I mean, you just gotta you gotta look in yourself.
If anybody says they haven't, remember TTNL, Shane?
I've heard of it.
Ryan Nall and David Montgomery on the show with us.
Hollywood Rye.
Hollywood Rye
The Dallas
unveils week 9, that they finally put the all 22 up in front of the team. The players went to Coach Nagy and requested it. They were like, hey, hold us accountable in front of our peers. It actually works. Wow. Here is them. And this is coming from Jalen, and Justin obviously is coming from another team.
We all have.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
if
sure.
anybody says they haven't, they lying to y'all.
For sure.
Oh yeah, you could tell that they're keeping it real right there.
Keep it at 100.
You gotta look in yourself and hold yourself accountable at first. You gotta like, am I going as hard as I could on this play? Because in the game, like, you know, Jalen got to know that I'm gonna run my ass to the ball, you know, every time. Because if I ain't come on that backside and he cut back and he score a touchdown, that's on me. That ain't on him. You know what I'm saying? You got to know the help there. But, you know, for him to have that confidence in me, you got to see it in practice. You know, you can't assume that's gonna happen in the game if you ain't seen it all training camp, all, you know, OTA. So that's the reason why, you know, everybody's holding each other accountable right now, because in the game you just have to know your teammate's gonna be there. To have that trust, you know what I'm saying, in the guys, you have to know it's gonna be there. And that's why it's so important that, you know, that they're holding us accountable. That's why it's so important that, you know, everybody's running to the ball. We're making sure that even if it's the slightest loaf, you know, that's why they're on it so hard, just for that reason. Because if you can play, you know, knowing that you got the trust and belief in your teammates, you can play free. You know what I'm saying? You can take more shots knowing that you're gonna be covered up by your teammates, and that's the importance of it. So,
how long would Leno have lasted with this?
Probably wouldn't be playing. That's the thing. That's what Shane has said.
Well, think about it. Think about it this way. Leno didn't make it with the last staff that didn't hold anybody accountable.
Exactly.
Well, they kept him in, though. They kept him playing.
Yeah, but they also cut him.
But
I mean,
that
but
was
I'm saying, I don't think
yeah.
this regime would have even let him play.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because they're setting the tone of performance, accountability over the politics of money, guarantee, or loyalty to where you drafted, whatever it was. It wasn't on the tape. And that's what we're going to be doing here. Tonight, our guy, Bears Nerd, is live with us tonight with Claudio producing. Chris,
I got it up.
Chris Jackal's there. Claudio got it up.
There he is.
We got a new drop. And we'll leave him on. We'll leave you on, Jackal. Was it a good show tonight, Jackal?
Fucking great show. It was awesome. On the fucking screen, it was great. Off the screen, it was great. It was just full of entertainment, man. It was great to see everybody getting along, having a great time, talking Bears football.
And you can.
We're on the cusp, the precipice of the 2022 NFL season for the Chicago Bears. Yes, I borrowed that word from Cars, who taught me that back in 1998, talking about
precipice.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's it. It was a good time in my life. My whole future.
Kasim
was in front of me.
What about? Oh God, James Parrish. What about him? Remember?
Ahmad Merritt.
No one talks about how great Tony Parrish was as a safety. And
how about Marty Carter back in the day? I mean, that was a tackle
Marty.
machine.
What was his nickname? What was his
Tony
nickname?
Parrish the last Washington DB we drafted?
That's a
Before
great
Kyler
question,
Gordon?
bro.
Oh, wow.
Kyler Gordon?
I'm going to say yes. That would be. Where's Bratcher with this?
They brought in True Font. Bratcher's like, is Tillman still playing?
Yeah.
Still on the roster?
Jackal would know because he is the trivia champ. is.
I just got to get
Well,
my
last
mind
I heard,
right.
Bradshaw-
Perfect state for that.
Bradshaw was pushing for R.W. McQuarters to start
Yeah.
in
Oh,
order
yeah.
for us this
R.W..
year. So, yeah.
R-Dub out of Oklahoma State, Claudio.
I loved that trade when they made that trade for him.
Oh, so did I. R.W. McQuarters. Had some great punt returns. Do you remember what number he wore?
21.
That would be correct.
Yes, you.
Jacko would have gotten that wrong tonight, I believe.
He texted me that. He texted me.
I was typing it in the comment right here. Watch.
Listen.
Watch as I type it right now. Yeah.
On the patron side, a lot of you have had questions about a lot of things about the network and where we were and where we're going, and people that have gone on their own way. We address this. Become a patron. Our town hall shows will be a part of our future going forward. Always speaking the truth. Never interjecting bullshit. Just
I love balls.
Cherie will tell you she loves balls, and she'll stand by that.
As a patron,
Claudio just got it up tonight.
Yes.
He'll stand by that.
That was
cool.
Well,
He will stand
you got to
by
show what else you get as a patron, right? A little promo here.
X's with the O's. DDP, Coach O, Barrelissimo, and they actually.
Oops.
Jesus Christ.
How is that not? Why is that still on?
Claudio tries to produce.
I tried. I
think you did it on purpose.
I think you broke cars.
Crying a lot, I can't find the hole.
Either can Claudio. He's got it up, but he didn't get it right.
What? Sorry, Claudio.
I don't give a fuck that he smokes weed. They all smoke weed.
Smoke weed every day.
Go
We'll
get
just
your
have to clean
scissors,
it up in
Claudio.
post. Yeah,
Shane,
we'll
you're
clean it up in
muted.
post. It'll be
And
fine.
probably said something amazingly funny.
I did. I said to take us out, Claudio's going to play the 100 proof music.
I think it was God's way of, yes, we address Barrelissimo on the town hall show. And Cars will get his chance as well to make that address to you publicly coming in the future. Cars keys to the patron channel, where he's going to be breaking down the upcoming opponent using it, not only stats, but listen, as a guy that hates the blog boys, Cars is not. He'll dip his toe in that pond and rip a blog boy a new ass. Right? Where's that drop, Claude? Get in someone's ass today.
Get in somebody's ass today.
Exactly.
Unless that dragon was fucking a goat.
Nerd alert!
You fuck yourself.
Cars will be ready. That's coming. Eric Kramer, former quarterback, Chicago Bears, breaking down the offense, the QB school, breaking down Justin Fields like nobody else on the TTNL network. The tape never lies. Draft Dr. Phil, my video series will be on patron side alone. Go over there, become a patron. TheTapeNeverLies.com. Is that how you found us? Well, become a patron. All this stuff, the pop-up shows like tonight. This was brought to you by Shane Marsaw sending me a text. I think after that, we gotta go live tonight.
Nope.
That was
Great
Phil's
call.
response, and I'm like, no, we gotta give it to the people.
That was my wife's response, and
Yeah.
and Shane was like, "Steph, gotta give it to the people."
I called Claudio, said, "You good to go tonight?" And he's like,
got it up. That was cool.
P.O.P. Hold it down.
It's performance over politics. Performance over politics.
That's what we do here. Original music, all of the stuff that you love. And then Wednesday nights tomorrow, we're going to have our guy, friend of the network, Herb Howard, breaking in here, bringing us what he saw in the first practice tomorrow. Who was out there? The panic buttons, all of that. Maybe Herb will have some inside information. Maybe, just maybe, Khalil Herbert will have amazing speed on the outside corners.
Could be better in the open field. That's all I said.
What?
I just think that, you know, whenever he hits those sidelines, I think he can get up and go faster than a guy like David Montgomery.
Anyways, let's see.
I think I'm a born American boy.
Okay.
Born in this land.
There you go. Keeping it 100 will be live. Thank God, Claudio.
I got it up.
He got it up today.
Oh,
He did a great job.
let's get this. We didn't wait. Let's end
Yes.
it with Rod Marinelli. We haven't watched him.
No, Claudio, that
No.
will be for
It's
tomorrow,
man.
So why is
We don't
why did I
want
put it
you
up there?
ruining.
Read a
any
room,
other-
Claudio. There's people that need to learn
Why
that
would-
skill and how to read a room
Why would I
around
put
here.
it up there?
We run the clock. Super 16 is the cream of the crop. College football time of year don't stop.
You're adding this guy.
Just another go dome with the courage, heart, skill, and will. Bringing you the best 16.
This guy, Chris Zorich, back in the fall here on TTNL Monday nights. You love college football. If you don't love Chris Zorich, what a great friend and human being this guy is. For the network and for his analysis. We're going to have a lot of fun breaking down the college game as well. We do it all here when it comes to the greatest sport in the world. Claudio, shut up. Nope. It is football, Claudio.
Phil, can you hear me? This is your dad speaking. Can you hear me? I'm in space. I'm in space.
Oh,
And
shit.
last but not least, X's with the O's will be back.
Love it.
This fall. Me and my dad, Saturdays, breaking down the big plays or the moments that turn the tides, as well as another show called Masterclass, where he's going to take your patron questions. As Shane said, there's no dumb question. What's a 3 technique? I'm going to go up on the board, teach you the skill. How do you play cover 2 versus trips? All of that. Do you have to get out of cover 2 if they come out in trips? Sometimes you do. All of this stuff, as well as
Don't forget the new and improved
yes,
MOB. And what is the B?
Draft
stand for?
Mob.
Stands
Yes.
for Bears Nerd.
MOB will be back next season, and we'll start talking about some potential draft picks for the Chicago Bears, who will, Jackal, have a first-round pick next year, and we'll be breaking it down. Yes, Bears Nerd will be the B in Marsaw, Atoshin, and Bears Nerd. That'll be Sundays later on in the fall. Become a patron, everybody.
Then let me do what I hired to do.
We do let you do what you got to do. I think I promoted it all, Shane. The music, go over there, buy the album. What other show on Wednesday nights gives you therapy, honesty, analysis, laughs, and every other emotion you could possibly think of on top of the whiteboard and everything? I think we said it all. And original music to boot. For that, I think we've done it all tonight. I want to thank Chris Jackal and Claudio and all of the producers
Can only imagine the smells coming out of that thing, but
that have stepped up tonight. Tomorrow, again, Herb Howard, 8:30, keeping it 100. Tonight, TTNL pop-up show. This is what we do on our patron side. all the time with our patrons. Yes. Shane, how are we going out of here?
The only way we know how, Phil, and it's like